A contractor I work with pays each one of his techs $25 for every single Google review that mentions their first name. He went from 5 reviews a month to over 35 to 40 a month during the high season. The system is dead simple, and it's the single most impactful thing that most home service businesses could do right now for their Google rankings that they're not already doing. In this video, I'm going to break down the exact system, the follow-up cadence, and the exact script that the tech says, and why review velocity matters more than most people think. I talk to contractors every single week who tell me they have a review problem. They've got 40, 50, 100 reviews total. Their competitor has 200, 500, 2,000, sometimes 10,000, and they think that's why they're losing. But the real problem usually isn't the total count of the reviews. It's because they stopped getting reviews 3 months ago and Google noticed. You see, most businesses don't actually have a review system in place. They finish the job and hope that the customer just thinks or remembers to leave one. They don't. People are lazy. They're not just going to spontaneously go leave your review unless you did a really awesome job and kind of bent your back for them. So let me show you what a real system looks like and why it changes literally everything for getting reviews. Before I show you the system, I do need to explain why it matters so much. Because most contractors think that the game is just total review count, get 5-star rating, and get more reviews than the other guy, and that's how you win. If you want to rank #1 on Google Maps and Google search results, that is not how it works. So business A, 300 total reviews. Looks great on paper. But when you look at when the last one came in 2 months ago, before that, 3 months ago, this business was generating reviews a year ago, 2 years ago, sometimes 10 years ago, and stopped. Maybe the owner got busy, maybe they just lost the tech who was actually asking. Whatever the reason, Google sees a business that used to be active but isn't anymore. Business B, 120 total reviews. Their last review was 3 days ago, sometimes 3 hours ago. Literally less than half of the reviews of business A. But they got 15 this past month, maybe even 20. They got 12 the previous month. They got 24 the month before that. They're consistent. The reviews are recent. Google sees a business that customers are actively hiring, actively choosing to trust with their money, and actively reviewing positively. Not a year ago, not 10 years ago, right now. Google weighs recency heavily. A business doing 15 to 25 reviews a month is sending a much stronger signal than a business with 500 total reviews that hasn't gotten a single review in the past 3 months. Recency tells Google people are hiring you today. This is exactly why a review system matters. It's not about getting as many as your competitor or getting 50 more than them and then stopping. It's about getting 15, 20, 30, sometimes 50 reviews every single month. We've seen that before. Consistently. That's what moves your rankings, and that's what also keeps you there. So when other people start investing in SEO or just going crazy on reviews, you're still at the top and you keep that moat. All right. Here's the system. It's about 6 steps. Dead simple. Literally any home service or just local service business can set this up in a day. Step number 1, the tech completes the job. Nothing fancy here. The job is done. The customer's probably happy, assuming you did a good job. This is the moment, not the next day, literally right now, while you're still standing in their house. This is the moment to ask. So step 2 is where 90% of businesses fail. They send a text the next day. Their tech leaves the house, not even mentioning it to the client. They send an email a week later. By then, the customer has literally moved on. They've already forgot about you. They're not thinking about their plumbing anymore. They're thinking about, how they just spent $5,000 to fix their water heater. The ask has to happen face-to-face, on-site, before the tech walks out the door, right after you fix their massive issue. That is a non-negotiable. And here's the thing. I talk to home service business owners literally every single day. The funny thing is that the most common excuse for we can't get reviews is either blaming it on the customers, they don't like leaving reviews, or blaming it on the systems that they have. We don't have an automation. We don't have someone to call. You don't need someone to call. You need to train your tech how to ask in person, get a little charisma in them, and they will start printing your reviews. It's literally that simple. Typically, the hardest thing to do is also probably the best solution for your problem. So why in person? Why does it matter so much? Because it's almost impossible to say no to someone standing right in front of you who's already in your house, who just fixed your problem. A text is super easy to ignore. An email might even go to spam depending on kind of how you send those out. But a tech who just unclogged your drain, looking you right in the eye, saying, hey, would you mind leaving a quick review? That is 70 to 80% yes rate. Quick pause. If you're a home service business owner and your review count has been pretty flat, this system alone can change your rankings in 60 to 90 days. That said, if you're in a competitive market and you have good reviews, but you're still not ranking and getting the calls you want, click the first link in the description below to apply to work with us. We work with over 35 home service businesses actively. We've helped grow almost 100 home service businesses ourselves just through ranking on Google search and AI search engines to book them more jobs. But first, let me cover a few more things that make the system even stronger. So we know that's the most effective way. How do we make it a little more simple? Well, you hand them a QR code linking directly to the Google review page. The tech doesn't say, hey, just go to Google and search for us and find the review button and then click that and you're gonna have to sign in and all this stuff. That's 6 steps too many. Your tech should hand them a physical card or a laminated card with a QR code that links directly to the Google review page. Customer scans it with their phone camera, the review box pops up, done. 15 seconds in and out. You can make these on Canva in like 10 minutes, print 150 of them at the print shop for 20 bucks. Every tech should carry a little stack in their truck. There's no excuse not to have these. And the cool thing is if you have multiple Google business profiles and you're trying to distribute reviews consistently across all of them, let's say you have 3 and you want each to have the same kind of number of reviews coming in, we built a pretty simple tool for some of our clients that rotates the links. So the way it works is, let's say you did 100 jobs in a day. Let's say 80% of people leave your review. You're gonna have 80 reviews coming in today. On the back end, we can actually dictate what percent of those 80 reviews goes to each single Google business profile. So if I want 33% on this one, 33% on this one, 33% on this one, that's totally fine. You can do that. If you want the tool, just DM me on Twitter. I'll send you the link. You can also just go vibe code it yourself with Claude Code. So here's what the tech says. And this is probably the most important because the wording really matters here. Across the hundreds of home service businesses we've helped, we've seen the best results from just a super simple, kind of down-to-earth question of, hey, if you were happy with the work today, it would mean a lot if you could just leave us a quick Google review. It takes like 20 seconds. And if you could mention my name, that helps me out personally. Adding this in the editing process, Google just released an update under their prohibited and restricted content policy under the rating manipulation, which essentially says that they do not want businesses to get customer reviews that mention the specific name of the staff member. So what this means going forward is in this video, you'll see that some of my advice is to tell your text to ask the customer to leave a review and mention their name in it. But if you have any sort of CRM or project tracking or whatever you use to manage your dispatching of your crew, then you'll be able to see what techs worked on what appointments and you can still give them that bonus. But we suggest that they do not ask the customer anymore for a review with the name of the tech anymore. Instead, just have the techs request that the customer mentions what service they did, how it was, and also their location if possible. This will help you show up for searches of that service near or in that location. And if you or your tech had really good rapport with the customer, train your tech to ask them to mention the service you did for them, because that, again, will just do the same thing even better. Typically, they'll give like a longer-winded 3 to 4 sentence response. Step 5, the customer scans and leaves a review. Super, super simple. Now, you might find that, hey, they need to sign into Google. It's worth helping them through that. If they say, oh, I don't think I have a Google account, you're just like, okay, let me just check for you. If you don't think that they're kind of tech savvy. And then once they leave the review, boom, you pay your tech 25 bucks. And 25 is just kind of this like random number. It totally depends on your industry. We have junk removal clients who don't even pay their tech at all and just train it, and that's just part of their expectations. We have water damage restoration companies or remodeling companies who will pay their techs literally $250 to $500 every single 5-star review that comes in. The important thing is that you have an incentive structure behind who you're actually having leave reviews. This is super, super important. Without it, techs typically forget. They get busy, they don't really bother. And then on the flip side, you can give them really good incentives, but if you don't train them on how to actually do it, aka role-playing with a fake customer yourself on how to actually ask for reviews, they're just gonna blow off the money. Oh, 25 bucks, it's nothing. It's not worth going out of my comfort zone and going to ask this customer for a review. You don't want that to happen. So let's say they don't leave a review. Next step is to set up your automated follow-up sequence. So for all the customers that didn't leave a review, all of the main CRMs can do this, ServiceTitan, House Call Pro, Jobber, etc. We recommend following up via SMS or blue texting after 12 hours, and then emailing after 24 hours if there's still no review, and then manually calling them after 48 hours if there's still no review. And this can come from a CSR, it can come from one of your sales guys if they do that, it can come from the owner, best done from the owner, just depending on your scale, obviously. Super, super simple. Typically what we see is that the most important part is asking in person, which is right here. This is like 70% of the reviews our clients get. And then I would say 5% I would say another 5%, maybe even less, like let's just say under 5% and a little bit more than 5%. And then right here is what cleans up the rest. So that leaves us with about 20%, give or take. And that's because if it's coming from the owner, I think it's a little more personal. It shows that you really, really appreciate this if they could do this for you. And you actually care about their kind of quality of service or their experience. If the tech didn't get it, but the CSR did, dude, pay them. I want to spend a minute on the incentive piece because I think a lot of business owners here pay your techs for reviews and they either think it's too expensive or it won't work. So let's break down the math. Let's say you do that $25 per review. If your tech generates 15 reviews in a month, that's $375. Now in a year, that's about $4,500 per tech. Sounds like a lot until you think about what those reviews are actually worth. Those 15 reviews per month are pushing your review recency and total count ahead of every competitor who isn't doing this. If you're unaware, this top 3 map section is called the map pack or Google's local pack, 3-pack, whatever you want to call it. This is where about 80% of all the searches for this keyword go and click and call. The better review recency and total count will improve your position in this Google map pack. One additional job a month from better rankings at even a $500 ticket is $6,000 a year. The $25 review pays for itself almost entirely. And here's the other thing, your techs start caring because they're not just doing their job and leaving. They know that the happy customer equals 25 bucks in their pocket. Their customer service gets better. They take more pride in the work. They are more bought into your vision as the business owner. The $25 isn't just buying reviews, it's buying better customer experiences and better team motivation that happen to also generate reviews. Some owners do cash, some just add it to the paychecks, some even do a leaderboard and the top tech each month gets a bigger bonus. I love that system. However you want to structure it. The point is that the incentive has to be there. Without it, the system typically dies in just like 2 or 3 weeks. And so I recommend doing this in tandem with actually training your team. One more piece that most contractors completely ignore, and it takes just about 5 minutes a day, is to respond to every single review, positive and negative, every single one. So more recently, Google hasn't really shown a positive ranking increase from responding to reviews quickly, but a business that responds to every single review does look more active and trustworthy, and so I don't think it would hurt. That said, I think this is more important to consider how potential customers perceive this. So for positive reviews, keep it simple. Thanks, Jason. Glad we could help you with XYZ service in XYZ location. Let us know if you need anything in the future. Pretty simple, 15 seconds. For negative reviews, don't get too defensive. This is assuming it's not a fake review or a competitor review. Acknowledge the issue, offer to make it right, take it offline. We're sorry to hear about your experience. We'd love to make this right. Please call us at number so we can take care of it. That's it. The response isn't for the one person who left the review. It's for the 50 to 150 people who will read that review and decide whether they want to call you. One more thing before I wrap up. This applies specifically to higher ticket work, roofing, water damage restoration, remodeling, anything where your average job is over 10K. Your review potential is capped. You literally can't get 30 reviews a month from just 8 jobs. So you have to get creative about when you ask. Don't just ask after the job is done. Try to ask at multiple touch points. So after the initial inspection, most roofing companies or other high ticket work kind of treat that inspection or that quote as just like a sales process, right? And it is, that's the most important part. But if you can make it even more valuable, give them like free resources, maybe a DIY tutorial that obviously they can't do themselves, or just resources on like how to choose the best solution if you're a remodeling company or roofing company, just talking through options with them, all that sort of stuff. And so it's super simple if you make that inspection or that quote valuable to them to say something like, hey, I know we haven't started the work yet, but if the inspection process was helpful, would you mind just leaving us a quick review on your experience? You can also do it after a milestone on a long project, after a follow-up visit. Literally every single touch point is a chance to ask. And you might be thinking, oh, our competitors aren't doing that. We don't do that. Exactly. That's why you're complaining. That's probably why you're on this video. You are trying to rank higher and get more jobs from Google. The way to do it is more reviews. You've got to change something. And the thing is, you're not asking the same customer like 5 times. You're going to be asking different people at different stages. So the inspector, the sales guy can ask after the walkthrough. The project manager can ask after the install. The owner calls a week later and asks. 3 touch points, just 3 different people from the same company, potentially 2 to 3 reviews from a single job instead of just 1. This is how high ticket businesses go from 5 reviews a month to 15 to 20 without doing more jobs. Literally just more touch points and asking at other parts in the process. We work with roofing companies that get over 20 reviews a month, if you can imagine that. I think the average roofing company is probably getting a review every single month, maybe two. So that's the system. Ask in person before you leave, hand them the QR code, use the script, pay each tech X amount of dollars for every review that mentions their name, and try to respond to every review that comes in. That's it. A contractor we work with went from 5 reviews to over 40 this past month with this exact system. The math on it is just ridiculous. The cost is just a couple $100s a month in tech bonuses, and the return is better rankings, more calls, more booked jobs every single month that compounds for many months to come. If you're a home service business and you want this built into a full SEO strategy that gets you ranking in the map pack and starts generating inbound calls without even having to pay for ads, apply to work with us at the first link in the description below. We'll jump on a consultation. I'll look at your market, your reviews, your Google business profile, and map out what it would take to rank. That's it. See you in the next one.